everyone? All right, so here we are, Wednesday morning, middle of the week, and locking up a green day, a pretty decent sized green day. I'm happy with the way I traded today. Leading gap or leading gainer, DRCT, 2.8 million share float, recent IPO, blue sky setup over 435. We got the breakout and then move up to 550. Right around 550, as we'll learn, actually during the recap, someone brought it to my attention. Block order, 200,000 shares, and that marked the top as we got that flush as that block order went through. So big flush, drops down, and as of right now, 10:30, we're back at 450. It's still up 72%, but it's a little disappointing that we didn't get the fireworks. I thought with blue sky that we would get that squeeze through the high, through all-time highs, and then up to 650, 750. Maybe we'd get some really nice action, especially because it was the leading gap or the leading gator, and there wasn't anything else that looked like a sideshow. Yesterday we had AMC and GameStop that were kind of, drawing attention, and other days we've had like 5 or 6 stocks on the gap scanner, but today we really only had one good one. 50 million shares of volume already right now. We'll probably be over 75 by the end of the day, maybe even 100, I don't know. But despite it being super obvious, super high relative volume, super high total volume, it just wasn't able to break through those levels. So, I did the best I could on it. I'll break it down during the recap. $25,000 of profit. I was up probably close to 27, gave back a little off the top on that false breakout that I'll show you, but I really can't complain. Did quite well. Could have gotten in a little sooner, but from where I got in to where I stopped trading it, I really maximized on that window. I just could have started a little sooner on it. I was a little slow to jump on the bandwagon, but that's okay. Tomorrow's a new day. I'll try to trade a little better tomorrow. And as always, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel and hit the thumbs up. For the month of April, we've got a lot of exciting things happening. I want to make sure you guys are on our newsletter because we'll be emailing you out the schedule of events for the month of April. All right, so some exciting stuff. Stay tuned for it. Remember, everyone, as soon as you register to our newsletter, you get a copy of my best-selling book as a PDF. You can download it once. You can download it twice. You can download it 3 times if you want to. Doesn't matter to me, but I hope you guys enjoy it. All right, so, and as always, reminder, trading is risky and my results are not typical, so please take it slow and trade a simulator before you put real money on the line. All right, I'll see you guys first thing tomorrow morning for the morning show. Okay, everyone, so I'm going to break down the trades from this morning. Only traded one stock, DRCT. It was our leading gapper in the entire market, up 82%. Relative volume is 20, so 20 times higher volume than average. That's what it's projected for by the end of the day today. We had a high volume day back here, but its average volume, of course, is very light. This day was about 100 million shares. Today, we're already at 49 million shares. So we've got a 2.8 million share float. It's a somewhat recent IPO with blue sky above 435, which is what I liked about it. It was, I saw that it was a blue sky setup. When I first sat down, it was sort of around this area here, a little after 8 a.m. And I looked at it and I kind of watched the way it was trading on the level 2, and I thought, this is interesting. It's very stacked up on the ask. Lots of big sellers, lots of big orders. And it's kind of heavy on the bid too. It's sort of a thickly traded stock, which is unusual considering the float is 2.8 million shares and it's a recent IPO. But of course, it did have 100 million shares on this day. So it did make me a little skeptical. And I did not take any trades on it in this area. And I finally sort of broke the ice on it with an aggressive entry as it broke through this area here. And I sort of watched it starting to curl right as it broke over 25, and I thought, I almost got in right there. I almost punched it, and I should have, but I was just like, I don't know. Is it even going to go to 35? Because the way it had been trading all morning was kind of, except for this one big move, it was sort of choppy. But it did. It broke 25, and then it broke 35, which was this pivot. And then I was like, okay, I've got to start. I've got to add on this. So then I added right at like 45, 46. It hit 50, and for a second I was like, you might have just screwed this up by getting in right into a double top, and your entry should have been 25 with an ad at 35, and then profit at 45, and then see if it can break, and then add for the break of 50. But I missed the first part of the trade, so I just got the second part, which was the add for the break of 50. We had that micro pullback, and then we broke over 50, and we went up to 60. And at that point, I was like, okay, sizing up. 65, 75. We got to move right here straight up to 82, a 1 minute pullback, and a squeeze up to 94. And then a big red candle. And that was the highest volume candle of the day. And that was a little bit of a red flag, I suppose, and looking at it now. At the time, I sort of thought, well, it's still well above the 450 level, so, I'm okay with it. And so in this first move, I traded this both in my main account and my retirement account. So in my retirement account, I added aggressively right under here. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to hold that. I'm going to set out my profit targets on it. I'd like to see it break through 5. But if we get up to 480, 490, I could take some profit off the table and then add back for the break of 5. So then I switched to my main account, which I ended up not doing very well in. And in my main account, I started adding up here, 65, 75. We hit a high of 82. I think on this trade, I was like up 800 and then back to down 150. And then I got back in for the break of 90, but then we got that candle, so I lost on that. And then through this area here, it curled back up to 88. It couldn't break over 90. And this to me was a problem because what happened was the first 5-minute candle made a new high right at that moment, right here on this red candle, and it didn't break. And then it rejected. It came back down. I was like, you know what? I think I got to go flat on this because now we've got a false breakout on the 5-minute chart. So I went back to flat, both accounts. It pulls back, and I added back on this dip off of 62. The low was 62. It pops back up to 75, so like a 10-cent dip. It dips down again here to 58. I bought the dip again. It comes back up, this time back up to 92. Nice trade there. Then it dips down, and at the open, we got the break of 5. It squeezes up to 510. It drops down to 484. Then it goes up to 545. Then it pulls back, and right through here, I started adding at about 515, 520, 525, and then look at that candle. Oh, that was brutal. That was a brutal candle. I was adding 35.45. I added it a high of, what was it? This is the wrong account. I added at a high of, let's see, 540 for the break of 550. And then in that candle, if we back this up even just to like a 10-second chart, you're going to see, like, look at how dramatic this is. It starts opening up here, and then look at that rug pull. What the heck? Candles like that are not fun. I don't like seeing them, not at all. Over 1 million shares. That was the highest volume 10-second candle of the day. A ton of volume, and it was just terrible. It was a false breakout, but it definitely makes me think about the algos and things like that. Having talked with some brokers about this, when you send an order, like if you send an order for a big block order of like 10,000 shares, you send a block order for 10,000 shares, the brokers I've talked to, they say, well, as soon as the market maker sees that order come in, they'll sweep the book, they'll move orders out, their own orders, because of course market makers are making the market. So all of a sudden you see these candles that go drop down and come right back up. And sure enough, you got filled at the bottom of that candle with your 10,000 share order. And that's kind of what this looks like to me. It's all of a sudden the bids are pulled and you get this just ridiculous flush. And then they fill back in. And, it did fill back in relatively well. And I added it. I bought the dip at like 493 or something like that. But, it went a little bit lower, 487 before it came back up. And I just don't like that price action. And it makes it hard to trust when you start seeing that happening. And I guess you could say we saw it a little bit on that candle there. A little bit, not as bad. but it was much worse right there. And so that kind of ruined it for me for the day. I was like, you know what? I don't want to mess with the stock anymore. Now I don't trust it. I can't. I was lucky that I didn't get smoked on that trade. I really was. I could have lost $10,000 on that trade. And so at that point I said, you know what, that's it. I'm not going to trade it again. But I still think that it was the right stock to be focused on this morning. It was the leading gapper, high volume, and we got some good trades on it. And what is important is reducing risk as you go further into the day. This was my second biggest trade of the day. Second biggest position was on that one right there. I had a cushion, and I thought, blue sky setup, this thing's going to break through 545, 550. We're going to see a squeeze up to $6. And it looked good. It did. There was nothing about it that said that this was about to happen. I mean, you had the topping tail there, but we've seen so many times that this works just exactly the way I expected it to. It just didn't on this one. And, that could have been, as it came up to 545, someone dumped a 100,000 share position, and that was enough for the market makers to clear the book out. And then all of a sudden the bids are gone and people start panicking, and then you get that mini panic flush. And it's not fun to see. And we've seen it on other stocks. We saw it on LLL last week a couple times. It's becoming more common, which I don't like. Like, look at some of these candles. Like those ones right there. Same thing. This one right here. Yeah, I mean, like it's not a nice trend. So I'm a little bit concerned to see that type of price action, but it's a reminder not to overstay your welcome and to trade aggressively early in the move and then just get out. So, I don't know. I trade the best when stocks are front side of the move, hot, moving quickly, and when they start to chop out a little bit, and this one had already started a little bit of chop, is on that red candle, and then again at 545. That may just be the indicator at this point, just to walk away, step back, and not overstay my welcome. So yesterday you did get a really nice move on IGMS. Yep, that was really nice, very clean. I don't know if there was too much of that really big whip action. I guess there was a little bit right in there on that candle, right? That was a bit of a tough one. But I mean, you're going to have some red candles. That's not totally uncommon, but there just seems to be something a little bit more going on there. So it makes me a little bit cautious to size up. In the past, I would have felt more comfortable taking really large size, knowing that I could always hit the bid and get out, maybe a little slippage. But with some of those orders, some of those drops make you concerned about, potentially losing 50 cents a share. So now the thought of taking some of those really big positions does make me nervous. And I've gotten caught in a couple of those already this year. What was I can't remember now. It doesn't really matter. But in any case, just something to be aware of and be cautious with. So trying to book some profit and lock it up. So got green today, and that's going to be it. Only trade one stock, finishing pretty close to my high of day. Probably when I sold half of my order, when I started to see it dropping off of 550, I probably was booked up to like 27,000, and then gave back that when I sold the rest for a loss. But it's fine. It's all in all, I did the best I could today. Couldn't have traded it a whole lot better, really, which is always nice to know. I mean, I could have gotten in a little earlier at 425. That's the one thing I could have done better on. But I didn't. How big was that block trade on DRCT? Around 937. So someone was saying there was a block trade at around 937, which was probably a large sell order, and that prompted the
the flush. I mean, it's possible that one 250,000 share sell order sent as a market order could trigger those market makers to clear the book, and that could happen. I'm not sure I don't think that explains all of the moves that we've been seeing that are like this, like LLL and some of the others, because I mean, I don't think you have people, but who knows? Maybe that is it. Maybe that is just the way. It was 201,000 shares as a block order, 200,000 shares. So, I mean, yeah, it could be an insider from the IPO. We always know that that's a risk factor, and a 200,000 share block order, depending on what type of market maker is routing it. The thing is, and this is the problem, the people that are insiders that are selling shares, they're probably not day traders in most cases. So they wouldn't know how much they might be hurting themselves by executing a 200,000 share order as a market order. Had they executed that as 50,000 share orders, pegged at like $5.25, $5.50, $5.75, $6, there's a good chance that the people would have bought up those orders that were on the ask, and it wouldn't have caused that flush because it wouldn't have been executed as a market order. But they don't know, and what do they care if they've been in this from whatever their shares were? They might not care at all. So what? Just sell my 200,000 shares, and that's $600,000 of profit for me. So they might not care. But if they knew, I mean, this could have broken out through 550 and gone up to 575 and 6. That one order combined potentially with how the algorithm responds to those orders ended up marking the high of day, 549. So, what can you do? I traded it the best I could, and we'll try again tomorrow. We'll see if I could do a little bit better. We're coming towards the very end of March here, so tomorrow's the last day of the month. We're it's coming to the end of the month, but we'll try to just finish the month and lock up a couple more trades tomorrow, and then try again in April. All right, so that's it for me. It's about 10:30 here, shutting it down. Only traded about 2.5 hours today, but I'm happy with my performance. It's a good day. I actually might be one of the better green days in March. Not because we got necessarily a really good move or a huge move, but we got a big enough move. And this is one of the things I say: the importance of trading the leading gap or the leading gainer with high relative volume. Sure, you might have some moves like what we saw there, but generally this is a stock that had a range of about 100%, went up about 100%. So even if you can only capture a small piece of that range, a small piece of 100% can still be 5 or 10%. And if you have the account size to take 10,000 shares, 20,000 shares, 20,000 shares, 10 cents is $2,000. It adds up really quickly. So, it's not that you get in and you hold that position for the whole move, but you get in, you take some profit, you add back on a dip, and, you can actively trade these. So, as always, my results are not typical and trading is risky, but I do think that this was the right type of stock for me to be trading today. Leading gap or leading gainer in the entire market. I'm just disappointed that it didn't really give us the fireworks that I was hoping for. I'm waiting for the next LLL, the next stock to go from $2 to $7 in one day. That's exciting stuff. And did it hold 7? No, it's retraced half of the move already. But that's the type of action we look for. In GameStop, GameStop, it's not going up 200%, 300% in one day. It's moving. AMC yesterday, got some trades on it, but, that was the top and good high volume. But, those aren't volatile enough. So DRCT, we got some action on it. Did the very best I could. Again, like I said, I could have done a little better if I'd gotten in a little earlier. But, knowing what I know now, of course, I would have done that. But at the moment, I was a little hesitant, and so I added as it started to open up. And that's usually a safe way to do it. So that's it for me. I'll be back at it tomorrow. A reminder for those on YouTube, if you haven't already checked out our newsletter. Make sure you're on the newsletter. We've got some exciting things going on for the month of April. It's our anniversary month, and it is right around the corner. All right, so that's it for me, and I'll see you first thing tomorrow morning for the morning show. All right, see you in the morning. I hope you really enjoyed that video, and make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Our goal is to hit 1 million subscribers this year, but we won't get there without your help. So please, please, please hit that subscribe button.